TD Ryan Unleashed is brought to you by Scott Diamond, your State Farm insurance agent in DeKalb. Call 815-748-3101 or stop by at 2587 Sycamore Road, Suite D in DeKalb. Like a good neighbor, Scott Diamond and State Farm are there. Pizza Villa, pizza, pasta, sandwiches, and more at 824 West Lincoln Highway in DeKalb. Don't forget Kids Eat for Free on Thursday. For delivery or pickup, go to pizzavilla.com or call 815-758-8116. Elder Care Services of DeKalb. Safe, secure, and supported. Helping you stay in home where you want to be. Call 815-758-6550 or stop in at 1701 East Lincoln Highway in DeKalb or on the web at ecsdekalb.org. My Insurance Guy in Sycamore covers Medicare to auto care and everything in between. Stop by at 204 South Main Street in Sycamore. Call 815-899-0950 or online at myinsuranceguy.com. And welcome into TD Ryan News Podcast number 61. Flying solo today, TD Ryan and the Oak Tree of the News Department, Dan Lynch. Dan, how you doing?
Real good, TD. Thanks for having me.
We had some technical difficulties getting on the air, and of course, I stepped up and I turned the plug off and I turned the plug back on. So I feel responsible for us being on the air. But thanks for joining us. Thanks always to all our sponsors, and thanks to Michael Davis, my nephew, for getting us on the air. Kind of a slow news week, Dan, but I thought with the kids going back to school this week, we do kind of a back-to-school news theme. Now, the first one I have is a new DeKalb School Superintendent outlines his top priorities for the school year. Now, if you'd like to hear directly from Billy Hueramo, what do you call that, a diphthong, you said that is?
Hueramo.
Hueramo.
Yep.
Okay. So, Billy, he likes to be called Billy. I'm going to call him Billy. But School District 428, that comes to a new top educator, Billy Hueramo, 45 of DeKalb. And again, you can catch him on our podcast number 51 that we talked to Billy back in July. He's a Marine Corps veteran, and very interesting, Dan. He said he's going to try to bring some of the Marine Corps stuff into what he's doing there at the schools. And I had a buddy who was real... Well, I can say it on this. I can say fuck up. He was a real fuck up just out of high school, and he went in the Marines, and it just turned his whole life around. I mean, really got him on the right track, mentally as well as physically. And I don't know, people, it sounds extreme to say using Marine-like ways for school children, but you discipline your kids. You don't, I'm sure you don't use military discipline, but...
Well, children need to be taught manners and be able to get along with people. Otherwise, people aren't going to like you if you don't have manners.
That's a good point. Now, talking about background, Billy, again, he's lived it here in DeKalb because he was a student teacher at Clinton Rosette Middle School. Then he was the assistant principal at Huntley Middle School, principal at Little John Elementary School, and elementary curriculum coordinator for the district as well. So he's been in the trenches, He's been there and he knows what teachers are going through. I think that's great.
True. Paid his dues.
Yes. He's got over 17 years with our district, which means he's truly a barb. One of the board members said, I am a leader by example. He said, I've always has been. I never realized that until I joined the Marine Corps. And I said, as he plans to use some of what he learned in the Marine Corps to drive his approach to leading DeKalb schools, he'll get $215,000 a year, overseeing approximately 1,300 employees, 6,700 students, 13 schools, a district documents show. Hueramo is a member of the school board, took part in a special workshop to help establish now this is where, I ain't not a snowflake and I don't want to call people snowflakes, but this one, Dan, members of the school board took part in a special workshop to help establish a positive climate and culture. Now, if I was a teacher, I think I would be insulted by this. You're going to tell me my classroom's not a positive climate and a culture? I need somebody to tell me what a positive climate and culture is? Or is it just so they're all on the same page, I guess?
I don't know.
Teaching the same, my mom taught for years, and there was no meeting for positive climate and culture. Mom taught her classroom the way she thought it should have been taught,
A common sense culture.
A common sense culture. So I really got to draw him out on that one. That's just a little too much for me. He said that Hueramo says his top priorities at the beginning of tenure will be sustaining board partnership, building a strong relationship with the Board of Education rooted in mutual respect, open communications, and transparency. Now, we're going to talk about the Sycamore School District here, too, and that's very interesting, Dan, because they're going to spend almost $1 million on salaries, administrative salaries. And so the school board approves it. The Sycamore School Board approves it, and they say it's very transparent. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But very interesting, the relationship between the school board president and the school board itself. He wants a unified leadership culture, strengthen support of district leadership, driving academic growth. Now, this is what we want to hear. Partnering with school leaders to maximize school improvement teams aiming at least a 5% increase in students' meetings or exceeding academic proficiency benchmarks in the priority areas. So I kind of like that, measurement, We can actually gauge how we're doing here instead of everybody passing and doing well. He grew up in nearby Rochelle. His parents came from Mexico. Neither of them were able to pursue a higher education. That's why he puts such a value on education. He said that some people in his life who showed him education can be a path to a good life. He now lives in DeKalb and is married with a wife and 3 children. Hueramo is a longtime Chicago White Sox fan, including in his office is a poster of Ozzie Guillen's jersey, in case. They just retired Ozzie's number. Did you see that?
Yeah, Rookie of the Year, 1985.
Was he really?
Or
Okay.
86. Hit 273 that year.
Wow. I didn't remember that. He said he's excited to help students realize their potential. Yeah, so I don't think they could have picked a better guy than a guy who's been, 17 years in the school district, working his way up from the bootstraps there. It's just some of this culture stuff, some of this, I don't know. I just don't know how the teachers might react to that, saying, all right, you don't know what you're doing, so we're going to tell you how to make your classroom positive and culturally acceptable.
Interesting.
It is. Now, you homeschool, so, that's not a factor, I guess, with you guys. Or, I don't know how you keep a positive attitude. You're enthusiastic about the kids learning, right?
Yeah, well, I just tell my children that in life, we all need a paycheck.
You do always say that. I got to give you that. And you do.
You need to study in school so that you can acquire some skills that companies are willing to pay for.
There you go.
Very important.
Yeah.
Because I wish I was told that at a tender age because I wasn't.
Now, you have a son, if you don't mind me saying, I think 17. Is he going to college, or what's his plans in terms of or maybe a trade school? Because I know you're very practical in terms of why not go to a trade school for a year and a half or 2 years and go right to
my
work?
oldest is thinking about the military.
Oh, military, okay.
He's also thinking about a trade school in Springfield, Illinois.
All right.
So we'll see.
What branch would he go into? Do you know? Does he leaning towards one, and what would you prefer?
Well, he likes the Marine uniforms. It's an awesome uniform.
It is the best uniform. It is. The Marine dress uniforms, there ain't no better uniform than that.
True. That's even better than the Detroit Tigers home jerseys.
But it's got to be more than that, though.
So he's taking a hard look at that. But, he's 15 years old. He's a young guy. He walks by the mirror and he flexes.
Oh, so he's 15. Okay. I was thinking he was older. Okay. But I don't know. The Navy, I don't know. The Air Force, I remember talking to guys, Larry Forsberg, they had to go into Vietnam and trying to decide what would be maybe the safe. The Navy, but they went up those boats, up those rivers, man. And
the Navy guys will tell you, they've told me, that when you're in the Navy, you sleep in a bunk. When you're in the Army, you sleep on the ground. So that was one distinction.
That's one distinction.
I'm sure there are 1,000 of those. So I've also heard
I like that.
Yeah, there are injuries you can sustain too in training.
Well, tell it to the Marines. That's what I always remember because, if you're an Army guy or an Air Force or Navy, you're bitching about something, tell it to the Marines because you know what? They were here first and they didn't have anything waiting for them, We ain't no bunk for them. That's I like that. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, what do you got for news? Again?
Speaking of children, DeKalb City leaders approved a grant for nearly $159,000 for a nonprofit titled Building Leaders Advocating for Change. The money will help the nonprofit buy an old church at 820 Russell Road. The funding will support the organization's purchase of the property in the Annie Glidden North neighborhood, allowing the group to establish a facility for youth programs. BLAC was founded in 2020 by Tiffany Tucker. It provides after-school and summer programs focused on recreation, counseling, STEM education, and career opportunities for kids 10 to 18. Kind of like the Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah.
That was their niche. The grant is 75% of the $200,000 purchase price for the building and will be funded by way of a $50,000 from the city's emergency assistance fund and just over $99,000 from remaining American Rescue Plan Act money. The former church includes 2,400 square feet, and it's near Welsh Park. There are a lot of festivities there. City officials say the old church will help expand services for families in that neighborhood.
Well, I love the idea of repurposing an old building like that, especially an old church like that. But that's pretty hefty chunk of change there they're getting. Yeah.
Hopefully they make the most of it.
Yeah. So that's a done deal, or that's just being proposed?
They approved the grant.
They did. Okay.
Yep. City
good.
leaders did on Monday.
All right. Well, okay, that's a very positive thing. I like that. We're calling this our back to school newscast as we just looked at the DeKalb School District, what they're going to be up to. Now, the headline for the Sycamore School District, this was back on August 10th, a pre-K through 12th grade curriculum review, teacher support among Sycamore District 427 school board goals. School board president says a new detailed plan shows district's unprecedented level of transparency to the public. So people got to be happy about that. Of course, now we had Mike DeVito Jr. on here, the board president, school board president, was before they hired Dr. Campbell. Refined goals and objectives include a clear timeline to achieve those goals were added to the contract of the Sycamore Community School District 427 top administrators this week at the school board. Now, this is a number that just shocks me, Dan. I know these are the times we live in, but between January 27th and June 16th, the Sycamore board approved contracts for new superintendent, the district's first chief operating officer. Now, I always thought the Sycamore school districts are doing pretty well. And if they've gone all this time without a first chief operating officer and a chief academic officer, they extended the contracts for 2 assistant superintendents. Now, I knew there was one. I didn't know there were 2 assistant superintendents. The combined worth of these approved contracts is $916,127 annually, according to the district documents. Now, I saw some numbers the other day that I think the Sycamore School Board is sitting on maybe $7 million. But this is $1 million a year just in administrative salaries. This is not the teachers that all combined here. So, I mean, I don't know how they can rationalize this. Now, documents show that the contracts initially contained 5 or fewer goals for the employees, but did not detail deliverable times or deadlines. On Tuesday, the Sycamore School Board said that is changing. They said approve amendments to 4 of those 5 contracts. The change centers on expanded goals, individual deliverables, and timelines for the district's top employees. So they are being held to the fire, I guess, here.
So if they don't expand the goals, then is it a performance-based salary?
Wow, there's a great question. I don't know. I didn't think about that if they don't do it. The plan is to establish a clear pre-K through 12 curriculum review cycle, unifies our system to proactively improve curricula and ensure teachers have the reliable classroom and support and training they need to succeed. So again, just a lot of words out there. School President Mike DeVito said he thinks that the revamped goals and objectives should outline for the community the work district administrators are expected to complete. He said, quote, I think there's a level of transparency here that is unprecedented, and I think as a board, I'm just speaking for myself personally, I'm grateful for the work you guys do. Thank you. So there you have it. He's guarantee a level of transparency never before seen in the Sycamore school system. It's just that the money spending, and I know some people spoke at the last school board meeting, but apparently all that has gone through, and it's just hard to rationalize that. And when you create a position like that, and then the other thing is the 2 assistant superintendents. I don't know how they got that in there.
Wait, that's new?
I think it's new. I think they added a second assistant superintendent.
The COO is a new position.
Yeah, that's new. To the tune of, I think it's $120-something thousand a year. But it's supposed to help support the teachers as well, you know. So I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. But that's what's going on in Sycamore right now.
I mean, Sycamore is growing.
Yes. Well, actually, they're not. See, that's what I learned. Talking to people that are in the know, that Sycamore student population has not increased in the last 10 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why
DeKalb is getting smaller.
DeKalb is getting bigger. Yes.
Right. I thought DeKalb was getting smaller per the census. You know, went from 40.
Oh, well, that's because they used to count all the students at Northern.
Okay.
So that's why that's lowered. But I know more people are moving into DeKalb. But the student body population in Sycamore has not changed in the last 10 years.
Really?
So it's kind of hard to no, I'm quoting somebody else, so I should have looked that up officially, but I will. But it's hard to rationalize this kind of money without a new influx of students, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, if the head count is going up every single year.
Yeah, then you could see it. Now, there was a story last night. You remember our buddy Jim Mason, who was on with us at WLBK.
Right.
He wanted to follow people around. He thought people were going to the DeKalb School District that didn't belong in the district. And I don't know rumor had it Mace was spying on people, but apparently in Chicago, that's what they were doing. They're spying on They had three ladies, three parents that they highlighted that the Chicago School Board was using license plate readers and things to determine whether these three ladies lived within the school district where their kids were going to school. Now, is that insane or
And
what?
what was the result?
I didn't catch the end of that. It's still pending, I guess. It's still, but they proved the fact that they were actually spying on these people to see if they lived in the district or not. And I know that's what the Mace wanted to do that. I don't know if he actually did that. He wanted to follow people around here in DeKalb and see if they actually lived in DeKalb that were going to school here.
Well,
Remember that? He had a lawsuit. He even did a lawsuit.
Yeah, apparently there was some couch surfing going on. People.
Yeah. Well, let's say you
They
got
would
a
stay
dad
with
and
family.
in Chicago, and then your mom and lives here in DeKalb. Could you have dual residency? Dan has dual citizenship. Can you have dual residency? I don't think you can. A kid? Well, if you live with your mom and live with your dad a certain amount of time.
I don't know because school is compulsory. If you're a kid, you got to go.
Right.
If you don't go, you're in trouble.
But I could see
the
switching
Chicago
back and forth. You could
schools-
probably evade.
Right. And the Chicago schools are a toilet compared to DeKalb schools. So.
Yeah, so why wouldn't you want your kid to go here, right?
Right.
But yeah, so I don't know how that'll play out. But that's what's going on there with DeKalb. So that's our look at the school situation. Oh yeah, and then I got one more school story. DeKalb Middle School teacher recognized internationally for his work in transforming education. Now this is with AI, Dan, and well, I feel for your kids. I'm so glad I'm not going to grow up in a world with AI. It's just, but K.O. Gomez, DeKalb Middle School teacher and a doctorate student at Northern Illinois, is among the 20 early career educator recognized in 2026 with the 20 to Watch Award, an honor presented annually to the International Society. Listen to this. The International Society for Transforming Education and the Association for Supervision and Curriculum Development. Native of Brazil, Gomes is studying in the Department of Education Technology, Research, and Assessment at Northern Illinois University, where he designs a professional development center on equity and responsibility, AI implication. Now, basically, he's a multi-language educator, but here's the part that really scares me, Dan. Where do they describe what they actually do? He actually has the kids train a chatbot. Here it is. For the research was based on the classroom activity where students built and interviewed a chatbot version of an historical figure that they were studying. So they made let's say George Washington. They made a chatbot of George Washington, and then asked him questions that the AI would have right, I guess, right? Because I know they have one now at one of the museums. They have a Benjamin Franklin, whatever, and it's all programmed you can talk to him, and he's got all that Ben knowledge in there and talks to you like Ben Franklin. Wow. So, but the kid's creating a chatbot is the part that scares me a little bit too. But he said his research papers that recently accepted publication focused on how artificial intelligence chatbots can support disciplinary literary skills, such as questioning sources, understanding context, and evaluating perspectives for middle school bilingual students. The research was based on a classroom activity where students built and interviewed a chatbot version of a historical figure they were studying. Well, that's very impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, my God, just building the chatbot alone, let alone building a George Washington, and you can ask him questions about.
Yeah,
What a world.
and I
man.
hear AI is getting better and better with every passing month and year.
Yeah, that's what's really
It's getting
scary.
more refined.
Yeah. Well, maybe not this election cycle, but the next election cycle, that's really scary because they're already doing that where they got people saying things they didn't say. They're places where they're not supposed to be.
Yeah. It's
scary indeed. What do you got? What do you got for news?
big impact.
Yeah.
DeKalb City Council approved 2 architectural improvement grants this week. Only just $26,000. A $25,000 grant was booked for the Egyptian Theater to help pay for some security upgrades, like the big bollards that they put in front of the front door, so that people don't run into the front door.
Right.
I guess that's an issue.
Unfortunately, it is. Yes.
For you older drivers, TD.
Yeah.
The council also approved a grant for just over $700 for a resale shop at 153 East Lincoln Highway. That's to help cover emergency repairs due to damaged glass panels
All
at
right.
the store's entrance. The repairs were needed after the glass was cracked and temporarily stabilized while replacement work was completed.
All right, very good. And now we just want some dates to remind. We had our friends here from the League of Women Voters here last week reminding us some stuff. And believe it or not, September 24th, early voting and mail-in ballots begin. Now, I just heard Trump yesterday saying mail-in ballots are the most crooked. It's ironic that he votes by mail, but he was bad-mouthing mail-in voting. But certainly they're not going to do anything before this election, right? They're still saying that they might have this Save America Voter ID Act. I don't know where what are you supposed to have? Your birth certificate, and then you got to have your passport if you have one, or just to vote.
I think throwing down a valid ID, a picture ID, but
well, yeah, because for flying, that's the argument. You got to have an ID for just about anything.
right.
That part I think is reasonable, but the idea of getting your birth certificate, and then there's a complication if you're married and you took your husband's name, then that's all complicated as well. Just
Yeah, I don't know. It is harder. There is an issue with women, their name changing. Like my wife got a check in the mail from some class action lawsuit. It's her maiden name, so the bank wouldn't cash the check.
Oh, really? Okay. And then the hyphens, doing the high school games. My God, it seemed like every other kid had a hyphen where they got both parents' last name. Usually they remarry and then they keep the second name. And
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't, throwing down a picture ID. Doesn't everybody have a picture ID?
That's
Photo
the
ID?
part that I don't know what the hang up is, because they say that's the part that most Americans agree with. That's what do you do now? Your signature's on file, so you come now and you sign, and then they see if it matches up, and
Yeah.
you go ahead. But they also said, and again, I'm quoting from different sources, so I shouldn't do that, but that I heard that in the last 10 years, there's only been like 166 illegal people voting that they can document that actually voted illegally out of 350 million people in America. It's interesting though, but there you have it. But yeah, so get out and vote. So yeah, the early voting begins September 24th. Now, have you done that, Dan, where you actually go to do you go down to City Hall and vote early? You can go down and
I've never done that.
Oh, you haven't done that? Okay.
I've done mail-in voting, a lot of that, but never.
October 6th is the voter registration deadline. October 18th, online registration closes. Of course, 29th is the last day to apply by vote for mail. And we were talking to our friends from the League of Women Voters saying try to get it 2 or 3 days before the cutoff date, right? Because they don't stamp it that day at the post office. And then, of course, November 3rd, Election Day. So get out there and vote, and don't bitch if you're not going to vote. So
And people still don't vote.
I know the app. It's just, but they're the ones that complain the most. You usually hear about that. These guys are in there yapping off, and then you look up in their voting record, they never even voted. And it's like unbelievable. You got another news story?
Yes, if your property was impacted by recent stormy weather, you may be eligible for assistance from the Small Business Administration. Specifically, this is for storms and flooding in our area July 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. According to the DeKalb County Emergency Services Disaster Agency, homeowners may apply for up to $500,000 in SBA assistance beginning August 24th. This is for damage to your land or your personal property. Businesses and nonprofits, they may borrow up to $2 million for property damage. Applications can be submitted at sba.gov/disaster, or you can call 800-659-2955.
Is your lawn doing okay? My lawn finally got some rain, but I'm not going to complain about the lack of rain that we got because, boy, some other people downstate. I guess Indiana, there's still power outages there, and
Yeah.
it was really bad.
Kankakee, yeah, tornadoes.
Did you have any tree limbs running down in the hood there?
Not limbs, no.
Okay.
Nope.
Well, let's take a gander at the old community calendar brought to you by your friends at Stagecoach Players Theater. Go to stagecoachplayers.com. Their latest production, Bonnie and Clyde, will run September 10th through the 20th. And that's it'll be 126 South 1st Street in DeKalb. Call for tickets, 758-1940. We'll give away tickets for that next week, so be listening to the podcast for that. 5 things to do in DeKalb County include the Sycamore Steam Show and Threshing Bee, the annual summer tradition at the Taylor Marshall Farms on Lucan Road, August 13th through the 16th. The event will have live threshing and a sawmill demonstration, steam and gas engines, flea market, vendors, and food stands. Mission $10, $5 for seniors on Thursday. Kids 12 and under are free. Now, have you dragged the puppets to that before?
No, I should.
It's a lot of fun.
I was told to bring ear protection because there's a lot of steam whistles.
Yes, and there's an old-fashioned, where they used to tie the girl to the thing. It's Dudley Do-Right, remember? And Snidely Whiplash, and so the sawmill demonstration, you got to catch that. So that's really neat. Downtown Entertainment District kicks off. Grab a cocktail and enjoy live music and explore downtown merchants from 4 to 8. Now, this is the big controversy that they had there, Dan. And although there's many other communities here in Illinois that allow you to have a beverage and walk around, I don't know how many people are actually going to do that. You ever had a drink and shop at the same time? I don't shop anyway.
I tried to walk down the street in Houston, and the police did not like that.
No.
That was in 1992.
All right.
Well, let's not talk about my past.
Yeah, we won't get into that. All right.
So did that pass in DeKalb?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so this will be the first one here now, coming up on Friday, August 14th, tomorrow. As a matter of fact, from 4 to 8 o'clock, you can have a beverage in downtown. Of course, you got to wear a wristband, and then there's a designated cup, is my understanding, as well. But, again, I don't know how many people are going to get a drink and shop, but hopefully they will. Reviving through Route 27-2 car show in Genoa. Check out the classic cars, motorcycles, and trucks from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturday, August 15th in downtown Genoa. Food is available, purchase, and a live DJ will be spinning tunes. How's that for a dated reference? Spinning tunes.
Yeah.
DeKalb Municipal Band concerts, that continues 7:30 on Tuesday nights through August 18th. Well, that'll be the last one on August 18th. And Elvis, thank you very much. We'll be at the Egyptian Theater in downtown DeKalb. Elvis in person starring Matt Stone. I guess I've heard him. I guess he is pretty good. Wednesday, August 19th. Tickets are $34.50 at EgyptianTheater.org. I go through and I have hundreds of cassettes, and so I periodically start in the 1950s and listen to my cassettes, and then I'll hit the Elvis. I have about 5 or 6 Elvis cassettes. But you forget how many great songs Elvis had. I mean, Elvis was just cranking out the hits,
Yeah. Kentucky Rain.
And Wear a Ring Around My Neck and
Yeah.
Don't. I mean, it's amazing when you hear them all together like that. But, so Matt Stone, for the mere cost of $34.50, you can catch him being Elvis Presley. And he'll say, thank you very much. Have you ever caught an Elvis imitator?
No, I have not. But, they're fun to watch.
There, I saw a female,
What they're
actually it was a
wearing.
friend of ours, a mutual friend. It was a female Elvis impersonator, and she rocked. She was it was a contest, and she won with, I think, 4 other Elvis impersonators.
Wow.
Because she really sold it. All right, let's take a look at the obits now, obituaries. Again, we like to do this because we used to have to pay to get it on the radio, and we like to think people should be acknowledged. So, Anita, and sorry for that technical problem. We were going through the obituaries here. We're talking about Anita Hyde of Russell, and we're talking about the fact that she was going on quilting retreats and creating beautiful quilts. She loved family activities, including card and board games. Now, do you guys still play board games?
Yeah.
My brothers and I would always try to play Monopoly and then always ended in a fight. We never got through a game of Monopoly.
Yeah. And now my children are playing chess on the computer.
Oh, really?
Against something.
Now, is it against the computer or against somebody at another part of the country?
I think it's against the computer, but you never know.
You never know. No, that's crazy. Daniel Lee Davis of Genoa passed away at the age of 76, born in DeKalb, married to love of his life Janet in 1972. Dan was a proud veteran of the U.S. Army, having served during the Vietnam War and the Cambodian incursion, earning the Cambodian incursion, was that right after the Vietnam War?
I think it was.
Or was it during?
I think it was during the.
I know that
definitely
Nixon
the
bombed the hell out of it.
half.
That's why I thought we'd learn about the bombing. Remember? But then we bombed the hell out of Cambodia. It didn't do anything. I mean, didn't deter them at all, bring them to the peace tables. And now we're doing the same thing in Iran. We're just bombing the hell out of them.
Yeah, the only thing I know about Cambodia is the movie The Killing Fields.
Oh, was that what about that? Okay, I never
Yeah.
saw that. Okay.
Yeah, in the 80s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Platoon
And
was the one.
sadly, a million people perished.
Platoon and Full Metal Jacket was the one that always got to me. Early, I thought that was Charlie Sheen. I thought really, because I felt like I was him. I didn't know. I have no idea how I would do in that situation like that.
Okay.
You know? Did you ever see that one?
No, I've seen Apocalypse Now. Which
Oh, okay.
I don't know anything about being at war, but I felt like I was in a war
Yeah.
watching that movie.
Yes, indeed. But Dan, thank God, he was a veteran there, earning a prestigious Silver Star among the other medals. Following his service, he worked both as an iron worker for 25 years, an entrepreneur. Dan was a lifelong member of the AMVETS and BFW. Deepest passion, family, friends, fishing, dancing, and his time in the military. So God bless him for that. And finally, Dottie Mosier. Dottie, who we don't know her age because Dottie, being raised in southern Missouri, she learned a lady never tells or asks another one their age. Though close to her know her age, if anyone is still curious, they're advised to ask her daughter Chris, who has been instructed to answer, "It's none of your business."
Oh.
Her husband Jim, who was a nurse, housekeeper, landlord, or launderer, chef, dishwasher, and gardener, has been a loving husband and faithful and kind. She told him she will not haunt him if he remarries, and she's sure that there will be many lovely women bringing casseroles to the door when she's gone. And it says, make a note, make sure they're gluten-free. This Joplin, Missouri hometown girl enjoyed every second of residing in Malta, Illinois since 2016. She often told her Missouri friends and loved ones of being a full-time recipient of the most red tomatoes, greenest cucumbers, and zucchinis, and the sweetest yellow cobs of corn from her and Jim friends as her neighbors in Malta. So she from Missouri to Malta. Dottie wrote, "I have no special accomplishments in my life to brag about. The Lord has been a constant guide through my life, and I regret it was a tough patch for him, but he has never failed me. Jesus has held my hand and comforted me throughout my last days of my life. To those who I said, I love you, I mean it, and I treasured many whoever took time off to see me. God bless you." So I kind of like that there, because we all have something we should be proud of, and she very proud of her family and such. But there you have it, an obit for you there. We like to share those. And moving on, we also have now sports, and I thought we'd just acknowledge some baseball. The Daily Chronicle had the all-team baseball team, and of course, a lot of DeKalb and Sycamore. Now, Cole Latimer, who is also one of our podcasts that we have, Cole is going to be going to college and playing football for Northern Illinois and playing baseball for Northern Illinois. Gavin Cheney batted .469 this year, drove in 21 runs for the Barbs. Noah Neese, first baseman for Sycamore, hit .311, .430 on base percentage, 18 runs driven in, and scored 25 times. Jack Peterson, Genoa Kingston, first team Big Northern Conference, starting every game at second base. He's got a school record for singles in a season. That'd be a neat thing to have a record for. Most singles in a season. Led the team in hits, steals, walks, and average slugging. Hit .442 with a .535 on-base percentage. Scored 29 times and drove in 19 runs. Caden Smith, an all-conference selection, hit .344, 15 RBIs for the Barbs. Ryan Reisman of Sycamore, .371 average, .508 on-base percentage. Hunter Chris, DeKalb's ace and Elgin Community Committee, was 5-1 with a 1.86 ERA. Struck out 76 and walked just 19 in 56 innings. And Jackson McDowell blasted a team leading 5 home runs while hitting .322 for the Spartans. And Braden Martin playing shortstop for DeKalb. Missed a lot of the season with illness, but still batted .278 with a .430 on-base percentage. So we wanted to acknowledge those guys and wish them the best. And I know the coach of the DeKalb Barbs has stepped down, and we have a new baseball coach in DeKalb, and very interesting. So your kids will play. Can they play high school baseball?
I think they could. Yeah, they
Okay.
can if they want.
All right.
They're not. They're in so many things, but they've done running club and wrestling.
Oh, really? Okay. Of course, you
You
get
know.
out there and run with them, I'm sure, Dan. Yeah. I know. I had to run somewhere. We were at a picnic, and I had to run just briefly. I'm like winded. I'm feeling my heart. So I got to get back in shape, that's for sure. I always love when people say they got to get back in shape, implying that one time they were in shape. Not so much with me. But let's take a look now at the birthday and anniversary list brought to you by DeKalb County History Center. Go to DeKalbCountyHistoryCenter.org. Find out all the cool things that are going on there. And, of course, they send us our own This Week in History. In August 16th, 1780, Baron Johann DeKalb, the Revolutionary War soldier that DeKalb County and DeKalb are named for, was severely wounded in the Battle of Camden in South Carolina. He died 3 days later. DeKalb County was organized in 1837, 57 years after Baron DeKalb's death. At general election held in 1836, Henry Madden, a well-known citizen of intelligence, education, and shrewdness, who resided in what was called the Brush Point in the settlement of the present township of Mayfield, was elected as a representative of the state legislature. His district was immense in extent, if not population. The state capital was still in Vandalia, Illinois. The state capital used to be in Vandalia? Before
I've heard
Springfield?
that, yeah.
I didn't know that. Almost 250 miles away, he served at the same time another state representative from the Sangamon County. Oh, served with another representative from Sangamon County, Abraham Lincoln. How about that? And finally, in 1976, our bicentennial year, Kishwaukee Hospital hired a new administrator, Wayne Fessler, capping a 4-month, 168-application search. The new 130-bed hospital opened for patients just 7 months earlier. In December of 1975, Fessler went on to serve the Kishwaukee Hospital president for 13 years until his departure in 1989. So that's how old the original hospital was. I did not know that, 1976. And hopefully you haven't been to the hospital lately.
No.
But I got to say, the time I've spent in the DeKalb Hospital there, Kishwaukee Hospital, just so nice. Just
Good.
incredibly nice people there. And quickly, the birthdays, we have Brandy and Nathan Reynolds will have their birthday on the 15th. On the 16th, Liz Doonan will celebrate a birthday in Sycamore. Brett Weaver will have a birthday in Elburn on the 17th. And on August 20th, Joey Elderson of Campton Hills will have a birthday. And Todd and Tracy Weaver will celebrate their 32nd anniversary in Sycamore. All right, you got anything else? What else you got, Dan?
Let's see. Stephanie, my sister-in-law. Happy birthday, August 15th.
All right, very good.
Yeah.
That's all. That's
Now,
all.
is she in the hood area? Is she in the area? Or where is she at?
No, she lives in the Northwest. Also, one you mentioned Vandalia. High school mascot, the Vandals.
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. Also, we should point out, as we speak, the DeKalb pool is supposed to open in a couple of hours. As a matter of fact, the weather, you've had all this stifling hot weather, and here it's going to rain all week when you're supposed to open up the pool.
Oh,
But,
I've driven by. It looks lovely.
It really does. I mean, the seats and people were complaining that there's not enough chairs, and my God, there's chairs up the yin yang there now. And I swim in the lap lanes. They got 5 lap lanes. It's going to be really good. But
Awesome.
So quit your belly aching with the people that will find something else to complain about. Always a pleasure, Dan. Take care of your lovely family, and we'll do it again next week.
All right. Thanks, TD.
And that's the Ryan Unleashed News Podcast number 71.